Hello, Louise. How are you?
Hi, Massimo. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Good, good. Very lovely to have you here today. This is
Thanks for having me.
my pleasure. We've been so nice to each other and we haven't even started.
It's only because you're recording this.
Yes, yes. I'm trying to be my best behavior. I just want to acknowledge that I've been a little bit nervous about this because it's my first interview and my first interview online where I'm recording, but we're going to be fine.
We are, and I'll say the same thing. I've sort of been putting it off a bit as well. I was a little bit nervous myself, as this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So
Yes,
we're in the same boat.
awesome. That's a great start. Before I start, I just want to let you know that this call may be recorded for quality and training purposes. um,
That's absolutely fine.
yeah. Okay, I think enough icebreakers. The only thing I want to say before I start to ask you a few questions is I want to let people know that we actually know each other already. Louise and I worked together in the past, and then you went different ways, and then I went different ways too, but we always kept in touch. And the reason why I decided to invite you for this interview today, it's because, as you know, I've been running this series about vulnerability, and to me, the ultimate act of vulnerability is going solo and open your business and run your business on your own and
Yeah.
getting out there and taking risks. And that's why I wanted to ask you a few questions to understand what does it take. So my first question for you would be just understanding what are you doing now. So what does Thanda Digital do?
So Thanda Digital is basically a copywriting business. So we tell people's stories, and that's basically what it is. So writing is not everyone's strength, um, and communicating in a concise way can be a challenge. So basically, we tell your story in a way that connects with your audience.
Awesome.
And that's it. I mean, most of our customers are small businesses
Yep.
because running a small business, there's a lot of things that you need to do, and creating a website and writing the content for it seems like a bit of a challenge for a lot of small businesses.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what we do. And I've got a marketing degree.
Yep.
I've been out in the business world, so I've traveled the world. I bring a unique perspective into my writing. So I haven't just been sitting behind a computer writing content. I've been out there and you know been dealing with customers my whole career, basically.
That's brilliant. I actually really like the homepage. The,
I love the homepage.
it's really amazing. As soon as I get there, I feel good right away, and I really like the fact that you're very direct. Like you're just targeting your customers directly. Whoever gets into this website already knows whether they're in the right spot or not.
Yep.
So my only question would be, are you the person on that surfboard?
No. Unfortunately not.
You're not, but you are
But
very.
I am a surfing enthusiast and I love the ocean, and that's why a lot of my imagery, is around the ocean. And another point I will say is that Thanda Digital is, when it says copywriting for brands with a conscience,
Yep.
those basically the customers that we want to partner with are the ones that align with my personal values.
Yep.
And that's when you're saying I've been quite direct about, if that specific customer goes there, they know that we're the right people for them, because that's the content I want to be writing, and that's the content I'm passionate about. and the companies that I'd like to partner with.
That's quite clear, which is great. I like it. I like you very clear about it, and you know exactly where you're going. This is actually probably an aspect where I need to clarify myself a bit more, and so I'll be probably seeking for your help in the near future.
Well, I'm more than happy to help, but I guess my take on is that if it's my values align, they basically are my personal values, and I put a lot of myself into my business. And some people might say that that's not the right thing to do, but I believe if it's close to your heart and it's close to your values, then I think that's the way to go.
How the hell did you get there? What were the steps? I mean, probably we don't want to hear like everything since you were born, but at least like what happened in the last few years in the lead up to the decision to open
Well,
your
I
own
won't go
business.
back, but I think my childhood did have a lot to do with it because my parents immigrated from England to South Africa, and they were always go-getters. And that sort of was passed down to me. So I've always been one to take risks and not be afraid of taking those risks. I've traveled the world. I've lived in 3 countries. So I think my life experiences have had a lot to do with where I am today. And my theory is if you don't do it, like yes, take the risk, and there are going to be challenges along the road. But what's the alternative? Never taking that risk and always wondering what could have happened.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So I was in the corporate world for a long time when we worked together for about 6 or 7 years. That it was a great experience, but it was time for me to move on. So I worked for a charity after that,
yeah.
and in that job, that's when I started writing. And I sort of found a passion in that job, and it was time for me to make a change. And I just thought, you know, what's the alternative? Staying in a job that you know, that I don't want to be in, or
Yeah,
taking this risk and potentially it's working out. So
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I just took the risk. Luckily, I could do that. My personal situation supported that because it's not so easy when you have kids and a lot of responsibilities. Luckily, I don't. So I had the luxury of being able to step out on my own without, all of that stress, that added stress on top of it. Um, but I guess for me, I follow my gut a lot.
Mm.
And if something feels right, then you've got to go for it.
That's really understandable. Actually, it's quite impressive because you make it sound very easy, but for many people actually it's not that simple to jump into that way of thinking, um, which in a way leads to my next question, which is right now there's people who either have lost their jobs
Yeah.
or were looking for a job, and I'm one of them. And so because we are in unprecedented times in a way, people are willing to take, I guess, some more risks. But it's
Yeah.
still, for many people, it's still very hard to imagine um, what would it take to take that risk. And so I was wondering whether you had any words or any insights or any advice to someone who's considering running their own business or starting their own business.
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is you have to believe in yourself
Mm,
because when you go solo, that is exactly what you do. You're solo. There's no one else. There's not a big corporate to fall back on. There's no one else to pay your salary. And, basically, you have to be 100% backing yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, why should your customers believe in you?
mm.
And that's why I say, for me, it was my business is very close to me, because that's I've had to learn to believe in myself, and that shines through in the work. Skills can be learned. You can outsource lots of day-to-day tasks, but if you don't back yourself, then you pretty much won't be successful. And I would also say find something that you're passionate about, because when you're a year in and the customers may not be flooding in the door, and you're just, you're doing the hard work behind the scenes and building the foundation, that's sort of when it was for me. If I wasn't passionate about what I was doing, I probably would have given up
Yeah.
at that time. So I would just say, find something that you're passionate about, and also start small. Everyone thinks that they have to build the next, Apple or whatever. You don't have to do that. Just take small steps, because then it doesn't seem so overwhelming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Start small. It can be your side hustle, or it can be a hobby at first, and you just build it slowly.
Awesome. Actually, still on this one, in terms of insights, I saw a recent post of you where you were saying to people on LinkedIn, basically, stop talking about yourself, start talking about your customers. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What do you mean?
Well, that's the thing. That's when I work on small business websites, that's what I see the most. At the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about what you can do for your customer. They are spending their hard earned money with you. So, what are you going to do for them? What problem are you going to solve for them? How are you going to make their life better? At the end of the day, we're here to serve our customers.
Yeah.
So it's not about how great we are and we've won this award and we've achieved X, Y, Z. Yes, that's important. But at the end of the day, it's how we're going to serve our customers. And that's where the writing comes into it, because a lot of the writing on the websites is the companies are just talking about themselves, and they're not actually reaching out to their audience. So yeah, so
Awesome.
it's about serving, and I watch a lot of Oprah, who's one of the most successful people out there, and she says, if you're out there to serve people, the rest will come, basically. Well, people don't have spare time. You for them to read something, you're actually taking up their time.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to immediately tell you what value you're offering, then they're going to look elsewhere.
Brilliant. I really like this chat that I had to you.
That
I
was
will,
great.
yeah, same. And I will be sharing the link to your website for whoever will be interested and wants to reach
Brilliant.
out to you or wants to connect to you on LinkedIn. If you're okay, maybe I can show you your LinkedIn profile too, or
Please,
Thanda's
yeah.
LinkedIn profile. Before you go, I just wanted to read to you a quote that I read last night before going to bed. I'm reading this book about Maurice White, who's the founder of a band called Earth, Wind and Fire. He's talking about when he finally found the courage to find the band, and he put this quote at the beginning of his chapter: I will not follow where the path may lead, but I will go where there is no path, and I will leave a trail.
Oh,
This
that's lovely.
this is from Muriel Strode, which is a an American author and businesswoman, and it really reminded me of you,
Oh, that's lovely.
which is
So, oh,
great.
that's great. Thanks, Massimo.
No worries. So thank you very much for this, and I will talk to you very soon.
Thanks, Massimo. Chat to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.